Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I am your host on Around the Horn, Ray Flowers. Oh, Ian Kinsler continuing to get it done. Some players come, some players go, but Ian Kinsler always seems to produce on the field at the second base position for the Rangers. Now, what has he done this year? Well, he's only hitting .263. That's a bit down, but he does have 18 home runs, 71 RBIs, 97 runs scored, and 21 steals for that club from Texas. And what that means is he is on the cusp for a third time in 4 years of having 20 homers, 70 RBIs, 100 runs, and 20 steals. He'll get there again this season in a matter of days. Third time in 4 years. The only time he hadn't reached those levels, 20, 70, 120, was in 2010 when he only played 103 games. A little bit confused there. 2010, 103 games played for Kinsler. That's right. The last 4 seasons, this player has basically been a 20-20 threat. A guy scoring 100 runs, driving in runs as well. Ian Kinsler may not be talked about as a superstar because of the injuries he has occurred in his career, because of the fact that batting average is only .273 for his career. But there are a few players who can fill up a box score as well or consistently as Ian Kinsler. Who leads the National League in RBIs? You said Ryan Braun, you're right. He's got 104, but who's tied with Ryan Braun for the NL lead in RBIs? Chase Headley. That's right, the third baseman of the Padres, Chase Headley. Career best, 104 RBIs. He's tied with Ryan Braun for first in baseball. Now here's another question. Who's third in the National League in RBIs? Alfonso Soriano. That's right, Alfonso Soriano and Chase Headley are two of the top 3 run producers in the RBI column in the National League. Big surprise considering where they were taken on draft day 2012. Last 59 games played, Soriano's got 53 RBIs for the Cubs. Last 62 games played, last 61 games played for Chase Headley, 62 RBIs. Both of these guys since the All-Star break, Headley and Soriano, have basically been an RBI a game performer. Absolutely phenomenal performances for both those guys who were looked at as, depth plays on draft day, proving themselves to be fantasy stars in 2012. Now, Ryan Braun, the other or real fantasy star here, go back to before the season started, there was all the PED mess and all of that. At BaseballGuys.com, I said, I'm taking Ryan Braun first of all. People said I was an idiot. People said I was a moron. Oh, Matt Kemp. Well, Kemp was injured, so it's not really fair to downgrade him for his efforts this season. But Ryan Braun has been exactly the player I said he would be all along, and he has had a phenomenal season, one that has him in contention for the NL MVP. Why do I say that? Last year when he won the award, 994 OPS. This year, 990 OPS. He has been almost the exact same player. He's got 40 home runs, which is a career high. He stole 3 bases on Tuesday night and 4 in his last 3 games, which now give him 27 on the season. That means we're looking at Braun with a good chance to go 30-30 for a second straight season. He's batting .314 this year, 100 RBIs, 100 runs, all that stuff. The bottom line is Ryan Braun has been every bit the player he was last season. He's fulfilled all of my expectations for him, and he has made an argument to be the #1 player in fantasy baseball. I think Mike Trout's obviously going to end up leading that mix there. But Ryan Braun could easily end up as the #1 performer in the National League this season without PEDs, by the way. Yonder Alonso, a teammate of Chase Headley's. Yonder Alonso has been a disappointment in a lot of respects here. He's not hitting .300. He has no power to speak of. We didn't think he'd have a lot, but we've really been surprised at the lack of power that he has had, even at Petco Field for the Padres. Now, he's hitting .294 in the second half, which is, intriguing and pleasing to see. He's also been bonkers hot of late the last week. .444, 1 home run, 10 RBIs for Yonder Alonso. Alonso could be a hitter very much like Chase Headley prior to this season. A guy that can hit you, in the 280s, 15 home runs, 75, 80 RBIs. I think he's got the power and will be a run producer on that level. In fact, he might also be able to hit higher than that. He might be a 315, 70 type of hitter. The power's probably never going to develop for Alonso, but he should be a very good, very consistent hitter for an awful long period of time. On the hill, Tim Lineceum. Oh, Tim Lineceum. Now, I was very high on Ryan Braun to start the year. Wasn't quite as high on Tim Lineceum, but I was a big backer of Lineceum. Horrible first half. Everyone ran, and I don't blame you for running. I said maintain the faith of figuring that at this point, why trade him? You've already seen the worst you're going to get. You'll miss out on the good stuff. If you traded him, you've missed out on some good stuff. In the second half of the season, he's not only gone 7-4, his ERA is .306, and his WHIP is just about 1.3. He's also got a strikeout an inning. Now, those numbers aren't what were expected of Lineceum in the offseason, They're not what he has done the last 4 years, but they're still very impressive numbers considering how bad he was in the first half. And he's really turned things up down the stretch here in September. He's got 3 victories. His ERA is in the 2s, and he's got that strikeout inning again. Lineceum coming through for those people that continue to maintain faith in him, even when it was really, really dark hours. Erick Aybar, last 39 games, batting .377 for the Angels. He's also stolen 9 bases in that time. Batting .295 on the year. He's got a chance to hit 300 for the second time in his career. And he's 3 steals away from a third straight 20-steal season. Aybar is never going to be a dynamic performer in the fantasy game, but middle infielders that hit 300 with 20 steals, they just don't grow on trees. And then finally, Dylan Bundy has an arm that certainly doesn't grow on trees. Arguably the #1 arm in minor league baseball right now. Well, he's no longer in the minor leagues. The Orioles have called him up to help out of the bullpen as they push for the playoffs. Bundy is not someone I would recommend picking up for 2012, unless you're in some type of keeper league where you can then hold on to him. Then, of course, he is someone to look at. But in terms of 2012 production, don't expect much working out of a middle relief role in the pen. Now, he's a 19-year-old who utterly dominated the minor leagues in his first season as a professional. Over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, a better than 4 strikeout to walk ratio. Just terrific. An ERA in the 2s, and a WHIP under 1. He has been, as advertised, a dominating performer. He should have a lot of success at the big league level. I don't know whether he starts the big leagues with the big league club next year in April, but if he does well in September this year, potentially in the playoffs, it certainly would strengthen his case to open up 2013 as a member of the Baltimore Orioles rotation. I'm Ray Flowers at SpaceballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. Talk to you all again soon.